I coach leaders to help them with a specific challenge that they're having. My approach is a little bit different. I use metaphors to help them identify where they're stuck and to offer a different way of leading. In our first meeting, we meet and get to know each other and make sure that there's a good fit, and we identify the specific challenge that the leader wants to address. So it could be something like being less operational and more strategic. I had one leader that I worked with who wanted to manage conflict better with her team members. And then another leader who was transitioning from leading individuals to leading teams and wanted some support in how to do that. When we work together, I create two metaphors. I share them with the leaders and tweak them based on their feedbacks because it's important that the metaphors resonate with the leader that I'm coaching. The current metaphor, that's the first one, reflects the leader currently in their topic. So, for example, a metaphor that I've used in the past is the way of the decisive triage doctor. So this COO was far too operational. That was his coaching topic, and he needed to figure out a way, how can I be less operational and more strategic? He worked in a small technology firm, so even as the COO, he had his hands in a lot of things. The second metaphor that I create is that of the future way of being. So it paints a picture of how the leader might operate differently within that specific topic. So for this same person, what we came up with was the way of the engaged movie director. And I don't know if you can feel the difference, but a decisive triage doctor is right in there, right in the thick of things. Whereas an engaged movie director, the director is kind of behind the camera, behind the scenes, and kind of directing. Now, they're still engaged, so it's not like they're disconnected, but there's a difference in how that leader then approaches that topic, both currently and a new way of approaching it. After we look at the metaphors, the leader and I work together to explore each metaphor to make sure that it reflects them, and then they have homework every month or so when we meet. The homework or the practices are a way of them developing the skills that they need. It's kind of like building a muscle, the skills that they need to move from their current way of being to that future way of being. I find it's hard to look in the mirror and kind of see what's really not working quite right. It takes courage, and I find that the current metaphor gives a way of still looking in that mirror, but in a little bit more of an abstract or an objective way. So you can say, oh, there I was being the triage doctor again. And it's a little bit more out there as opposed to having to take it so personally. It can be harder still to imagine something different. It's like, yeah, I know I do this, but I don't know what the alternative is. And that's where the future metaphor can paint that picture and bring that to life. I find that metaphors are a powerful way to coach leaders so they can see themselves more objectively without judgment, guilt, and defensiveness. The future metaphor helps leaders know what they're working towards. So if this resonates with you, and if you are a leader or if you know of a leader that have a specific topic that you are maybe wrestling with and want to get some help with, I'd be happy to connect and tell you a little bit more about my approach and see if it might work with you.